It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to the Travel and Cruise Industry Podcast. On this, the 25th day of June, 2025, coming to you from an unseasonably warm Forest, Virginia. Yesterday, when I was driving home from the pulmonologist, it was 102, and when you figure in what do you call the damn thing anyway, the other temperature was 112, the phony temperature, but it was 102 here yesterday. It got overly cold last night. It got down all the way to 85 degrees overnight. So it's going to be a little cooler today. It's only supposed to get up to like 98. So, all right, before I get started, let's get the medical stuff out of the way. I went to the pulmonologist yesterday. Wasn't the greatest of meetings. I had to take a breathing test. Found out that the breathing test I took, which about knocked me out, is not the big breathing test. I have to do the big breathing test still ahead. It takes an hour. So I don't know what that's going to mean. I don't know if any of you are familiar with this Zephyr valve. It's some kind of valve they put in that would allow me to expel more air. Apparently, advanced COPD traps air in, if I get this right. So this valve thing is something relatively new. And according to my gal yesterday, who I really like her, I used to hate the pulmonologist that I had. Just couldn't stand him. I really like Jennifer. She's sharp. But anyway, to this Zephyr valve thing, number one, I have to qualify by need. There's only two things that they can do to improve the situation I'm in. One is a lung transplant, and at my age and my weight, that's not going to happen. The other is if I would qualify for this Zephyr valve. So I said, okay, let's see what we have to do. If it would work and make things better for me, great. So I've got to go back for another lung CT. Then I come back to the pulmonologist and do the big breathing test. And then they get the results from that and the results from the CT. And I come back a third time to the pulmonologist and see if I qualify. And then I have to, put in an application or whatever for the Zephyr valve, get recommended for it. Amazingly, since one of my biggest issues with them is they never did anything in a timely fashion. It was, oh yeah, our next appointment is 4 years, 18 days from now. Crap like that. Everything is scheduled in 30 days. I was shocked. So that tells me that Jennifer is on the ball and is getting this place straightened up. So happy with that part of it. It's a little disheartening that there's just not anything else they can do to make my life any better. That kind of sucks. They are going to send me to a weight loss clinic to see if I might be able to lose a little weight, that might help me out some. I said, I'm willing to try, I make no guarantees at my age, but I'm willing to try. So we'll do that. I mean, I've lost a little bit of weight. That's the amazing thing. Over these last 4 months that I was with Hot Air Tom. And of course, now I did get sick a couple times in there. But, I haven't lost a lot of weight, but I'm down the lowest I've been in probably 25 years. So that's heading in the right direction. It would be nice to lose another 15 or 20 pounds. I don't have any hopes for doing a whole lot more than that. But if I could get down to 250 in there, that would be tremendous. So, all right, that's the medical stuff out of the way. Of course, I'll keep you posted. These folks are also being very cooperative in scheduling me either on Tuesday and Thursday or Monday, Wednesday, and Friday afternoon, so I don't have the conflict with the shows. All right, so much for that. We got a bunch of stuff to cover this morning. Not the greatest news day in the world again, but we've got a few things to talk about. Of course, I'm coming to you today from my studio in Forest, Virginia. I don't think I said that. Today's show is brought to you by the 2025 World Cruise on Crown Princess, by Will U.S., the owner of Scoot Around, and by Chillie's Cruises. The headline today and the lead story: a New York charter boat slams into a pier. Also today, the U.S. issues a travel warning. We're going to talk about that one a little bit, folks. Carnival Liberty cancellation. MSC helps a stranded NCL couple. Kind of a feel-good story. Itinerary change for the World Cruise. Nate's been going through 10 kinds of hell. And a 14-year-old girl assaulted by a former cop. What? That and lots more here at 11 o'clock this morning. Let's see. Hot Air Tom's jumped in the mix over there. Kenneth, Katie's with us. I said hello to Mike and to Gretchen, and so everybody's glad to see some folks in the chat room chatting away already. All right, today is National Strawberry Parfait Day. I like strawberries about any way you can give them to me. Would I order a strawberry parfait? Probably not. I'd order strawberries a lot of different ways. And I don't dislike strawberry parfaits. I'll have that too. But yeah, I'm game for that. So if anybody out there has an extra strawberry parfait, send it over. I don't have any strawberries. No. I got some grapes. I don't have any strawberries. All right, this day in history. This is just for Hot Air Tom and me. In 1788, the state of Virginia, it wasn't a state then, Virginia becomes the 10th state to ratify the Constitution. Good for Virginia. If you're a podcast person, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the old fat guy. All right. It's kind of interesting that we have two people in South Africa at the same time, out of our little family. This is from Nate. Of course, he's on the World Cruise, and he's in Durban, I think it is. I'll get to that on the story later on with the change in itinerary and stuff for them. He did get out on a going out to see some of the animals, some ostriches. Yeah, come on, tongue. That was kind of a pretty neat flower. what I can't even think what do you call those things now? Bird of paradise. A yellow bird of paradise. And there's some Africa scenery there. Now, one of the things for sure, if you go to the John, you want to close the door so you don't end up sharing the toilet with a python. Yeah, no. You don't see many signs like that in McDonald's. This critter kind of looks like a sponge, is a 1,000-year-old tree. Oh, that was pretty cool. All right, so one of the things they ask us not to share pictures of rhinos or clips of rhinos, which I had both from Nate and from Rochelle also. The government asked us not to show those online because apparently it stimulates damn poachers. And that we don't want to do with the rhino population that's quickly approaching like zero. So I have no problem with that. For anything that will save lives of animals. You guys know that. All right, so Hot Air Tom and Cindy. That's my love. That's Cindy. They're down in Port Canaveral watching the ships come and go and rockets shoot off. I've stayed there a couple times with them. It's really nice. Cindy needs to be careful because she's awful close to Hot Air Tom's office, and he gets awful persnickety if he thinks you're going to get any dust on his equipment and crap. That's the kitchen, as they're bringing a lot of supplies for I think they're there 2 weeks. Then they go up to Myrtle Beach for a week, if I remember the schedule correctly. A bedroom with 2 beds, another bedroom has 1 bed. And that's the living room area looking out at the balcony, which that, of course, is the balcony. And it is close enough, like you can hear the horns blowing on the ships when they're leaving. So Tom posts a bunch of clips, and I try to steal some of them. And that's the bathroom. Of course, the tub does me no good, but I believe that is a roll-in shower. I think that door looks a little small, but anyway, it's a nice joint. Like I say, I've stayed there several times. Okay, so this is my Scottish buddy. He's up in the Arctic Circle. Now, if you remember correctly, he's sailing with his mom. Again, this is like her 4th cruise now in the last couple months. They, by the way, in the Arctic Circle, and he's in shorts. That tells you how screwed up the weather is. So they wanted to witness the midnight sun, and they did it via horseback. So they did a ride at midnight. As you can see, that is pretty light for midnight. Anyway, absolutely enjoy it. And that's, of course, he and mom. Good picture. All right, so Rochelle is also on a trip through the wilds, giraffe. That's Rochelle right there, sitting at the first seat behind the I think that's the passenger in the front. Anyway, she's got one of her goofy hats on. Don't take that wrong. I love Rochelle to death. She's one of my favorite people. I just can't get her to come on the show, which I'm working on. You guys know what that is. That's actually, I believe that's an ibis or a velo, one of the two, which is a deer-like critter with crazy horns over there eating a little eucalyptus or something. Hippo crossing. Hippos have the right of way. I wonder if they would allow hippos, if they would let you show hippo footage. That they didn't say that specifically. That's a wild boar, and that would be some water buffalo. And they do have to eat when they're out in the wild. So if you go on one of those excursions, you are going to get to eat as well. So anyway, it's really nice to get some stuff from South Africa. You know, I've never been there. Probably won't get there now, but who knows? You never can tell what the future is going to bring. You know, how long I'm going to be able to continue traveling. I hope forever, but you know, we'll see how things go over this next month or so with the doctors. All right, so that's going to bring us down to the news portion of today's show. So I'll be right back after a quick break from one of those fine network sponsors. All right, so we're going to start off with the boat wreck. Dozens of people were injured after a New York City pleasure boat crashed into Hudson River Pier. The timeless mega yacht, which offers parties and cruises, was docking when a line apparently snapped, causing it to collide with the pier. It was carrying about 350 passengers and crew. At least 35 passengers suffered minor injuries, with about 23 taking to hospitals for treatment. Some damage was reported to the yacht. On Monday, the U.S. State Department issued a worldwide caution alert for American travelers heading abroad in the wake of President Trump's bombing of the 3 nuclear sites in Iran. The notice reads, and I quote, "The conflict between Israel and Iran has resulted in disruptions to travel and periodic closure of airspace across the Mideast. There is a potential for demonstrations against U.S. citizens and interests abroad. The Department of State advises U.S. citizens worldwide to exercise increased caution." Following the same story, there were over 600 flights canceled around the Mideast region already this week. All right, so I've had several messages asking my opinion about travel right now. Now, I'm not sure that I feel comfortable giving my opinion on it. I never have considered my advice to be worth much. But that being the case, I probably would not travel right now, just out of an abundance of caution. And I don't care where. And that's fluid. You know, if what the current administration is saying, if they in fact do get an agreement between Israel and Iran and get this stuff over with, yeah, maybe there's a possibility that I would get back to traveling pretty soon. But if there's a continuation of things like them bombing our bases and the chance of, they found what was it? The deportation people that I can't stand found a member of the Iranian national, I don't know what police in Iran here in this country illegally. I'm just real uneasy about this situation right now, folks. I wasn't uneasy at all traveling the first part of this year. Not in the least. I'd be having second thoughts right now. I'm just saying. I don't want to influence any of you not to go traveling. Man, if you got a trip planned, go. I'd probably be thinking twice about it right now. But that's me. Carnival Liberty will not be returning to service as scheduled after its dry dock in Europe. Recent changes have led to unexpected cancellation of its July 6th sailing from New Orleans. The change in plans is due to some reported labor issues overseas and a workers' strike at the shipyard in Spain. All right, so I had a little add-on to that. The Carnival Cruise Line, after I wrote the story this morning, is demanding 4.5 million euros in compensation from Spain's Navantia shipyard because of the labor strike forcing a premature removal of Carnival Liberty from dry dock, just derailing a scheduled refurbishment and disrupting upcoming sailings. Also, keeping pretty much in the same line, P&O Ventura, with 3,000 passengers aboard, skipped its scheduled call at Cadiz because of the labor protests continue to ripple through the region's tourism and maritime sectors. Not a good situation over there. And yeah, Liberty got screwed up, and with the dry dock, they've now gotten it into another facility. They're just running a little bit behind schedule on getting back to New Orleans. Ventura just wants to be safe. Don't blame them. Don't blame them at all. All right. Let's see what we got here. Whether you're relaxing on the beach, visiting a theme park, or touring Hollywood, summer is a great time to visit the LA area. Need some additional mobility support for your trip? We're offering discounts on scooter and wheelchair rentals for Anaheim, LA, and Disneyland until the end of August. Just give us a call toll free at 888-441-7575. Use SRN 11137 or call me direct 434-258-9264. On a shore excursion in Port Warnemunde, Rostock, an elderly couple enjoying their time in the castle gardens showed up at the bus stop before the originally scheduled time, but the bus had already left. The tour guide decided to move up the departure time for the way back to the Norwegian Dawn, but the couple did not hear the time change. MSC Cruises also had a ship in port that day and was more than willing to help the couple out. According to the Post, when they saw the NCL couple stranded, they didn't hesitate. MSC staff generously offered them a ride back to the ship and, just as importantly, gave them plenty of bottled water. A 71-year-old man has been criminally charged after he assaulted a teenage girl on board a Carnival cruise ship off the coast of Queensland. Australian police say the man, who was not known to the 14-year-old child, approached the girl near a lift shortly before 11 p.m. and grabbed her. Police apprehended the man when the Carnival ship called on the next port in Brisbane. The man has been charged with deprivation of liberty and 2 counts of common assault. The confrontation on the cruise ship was widely reported by a number of Australian newspapers and international press. Local newspapers report the police objected to bail, and the man appeared today in Brisbane Magistrates Court. The assailant was identified as a former police officer from New Zealand, Jeffrey Mark Spiro. Local newspapers reported that after the former officer grabbed the child, he took her to the ship's security office because she was allegedly running while carrying a small toiletry item, which was later identified as a pair of tweezers. The Courier Mail newspaper characterized this as a bizarre reason for an ex-cop to detain and manhandle a girl to the ship's security. Carnival spokesman later verified that the arrested passenger was aboard the Carnival Encounter.
Let's talk about Allianz travel insurance. That's what I use and have for years. Without travel insurance, you'll have to navigate every travel emergency on your own, whether it's that missing suitcase or a medical evacuation. With Allianz travel insurance, you have a dedicated team of travel and medical experts on your side. For more information, just give me a call, 434-258-9264, and we'll talk about an Allianz policy that fits your needs.
I love these people. And when somebody calls me and wants to get the policy, of course, I try to sell them the annual policy because it's by far the best bargain. It's $280, folks. No matter how much you travel, no matter where you go, and that's their best policy. It takes 5 minutes. That's it. Done. Hooked up. So give me a call, 434-258-9264, and we'll hook you right up with the annual policy from Allianz. All right, that's going to put an end to the news portion of today's show. So let's go over in the chat room. There's a bunch of people that I had said hello to this morning. Mike and Kenneth and Gretchen. Hot Air Tom. Gary, older than dirt. Gary, somebody was just asking about you a couple days ago. Thought you had disappeared and fallen off the face of the earth, and I tried to explain them where all you were traveling to this summer. Kenneth wants to know, hey, Tom, are you done at the resort now? Wait until February. Oh, no, he's there for a couple weeks. Had a great view of the rocket launch this morning at 2:30 a.m. and the booster landed back at the pad. What a loud sonic boom, too. Wow. I keep missing it. Every time I've been there, it's been postponed. Yeah, Hot Air Tom says, yeah, we're at the resort for 14 days. And there's Gary, I was just asking about you, Kenneth says. Thought you might have went off and got married. Yeah, I know. I can promise you that didn't happen. He said just visiting on the kids on the West Coast for 3 weeks. So, Hot Air says, I just booked the auto train for the end of January and beginning of March to and from Florida for our February cruise. We have an accessible room on both trips. Cindy will be broken into training. Okay. He's going to train Cindy on accessible rooms. Cindy, wait till you see that fool. Did I say that? That fool Tom crawling up that damn ladder. It's worth the price of admission. Let's see what else we have here. We have another SpaceX dead. Man, my tongue's not working. Another SpaceX launch today at 12:30. Hopefully, at the Elon much watch for easy. You better stand back. Yeah. Katie says good morning to everybody. Uh-oh. Hot Air Tom says his car had brake issues on the way to Florida. It's at the shop now getting front brakes, front axles, and seals for the transmission cooler. I was losing coolant somewhere. Some parts took a day. That's going to be an expensive little preposition. He has a rental. Well, that's good. So you can go out and eat. Roger will love this. It's a Tesla Model 3. I couldn't find the port to charge it last night. Had to ask Google. They really camouflaged the charge port. I don't know. I've never seen one. So Bob's with us. Good morning, Bob. Poachers can use the pictures to zero in on the animal's location. So we don't want that. Yep. The shower is not accessible. Yeah, that's what I thought. It looked a little jammed in the corner. So I would definitely have a problem with that one too. Chillie went too fast showing the bedroom. Does Tom have 6 pillows? He might not have them yet. 5 pillows plus 2 that he brought from home. He's a pillow nutcase. The pillows here are not very comfortable, not like the Intercontinental ones. Even the Holiday Inn Express in Hardyville was much better. King size, nice, soft ones. Yeah, I kind of like, I don't mind the Holiday Inn Express pillows at all. Clingy's with us. That's the next person. Kenneth says, how close are you to the water? Kenneth goes in Friday for pre-testing for surgery on his knee, scheduled for July 31st for a replacement. There's Roger from Jacksonville. Daughter driving back to Virginia today. Well, we're glad she's coming back. We have missed her, Roger. Joanne says, hi, Joanne. Don't forget to tell us about Nate's itinerary change. Yeah, we don't entirely know about it yet. They went into Durban for 2 days. Then they're going to go into not Johannesburg. I got my brain stuck on that. Anyway, where they were going to spend the night tonight and tomorrow night, they've moved that now a couple days back, and Namibia is late too. Did I not have that? Let me look back here and see. Did I miss the story? I think I've got the story in here. Let's see the update. Itinerary changes to Cape Town and Walvis Bay. Okay, so they went to Durban. They hung out off the coast of Durban for like 3 days fighting the bad weather. They're arriving in Cape Town. They were supposed to arrive in Cape Town today, but instead will call on Durban today. An additional stop in Durban will be longer than the original stop in Cape Town. And then they're going to go to Cape Town on the 28th and 29th, I believe it is, which is going to put them behind for Namibia. So that's going to have to be adjusted. The good news is the stop in Durban is part of the plan to keep everything in line. So they're just pushing back. I mean, at some point in time, they've got to even things up with the schedule. So I'm not sure when that's going to be yet. But so that's roughly on what happened with Nate's itinerary change. I guess I must have missed that. Anyway, my apologies for that one. I did have that in here. So let's see, where was I? I was over here at the end of the. Todd says hello to everyone. Great show today. Thanks, Todd. Chillie, did you see your buddy Don vacation not doing too well? I watched his video today. No, I have not checked on him for a while. Cape Town. Yeah, Mike. I don't know why. I have a brain lock against Cape Town. I mean, it's ridiculous. I know Jayberg is interior some, landlocked, as Hot Air Tom pointed out yesterday. And I don't know why I've got this block against Cape Town. Anyway, Gretchen's done with the treadmill at last. Well, I'm glad you're done with the treadmill. I'd love to get on a treadmill. I'd love to be able to get on a treadmill and walk. That would be terrific. That ain't going to happen. I did have one other piece of news. There is another show coming up at the theater that I went to this past weekend. On this one is The Piano Men. It's a tribute show to Elton John and to the Piano Man. You know, so I'm probably gonna do that the 27th of July. So I'm gonna call today and make sure I can get a ticket. But I'll probably do that again. I so thoroughly enjoyed the Motown show this past weekend, and to go see the Piano Men. Now it's not them, of course. It's somebody playing and singing their stuff. It's a tribute show, but then it's not $200 or $300 either. So, but it's really really good show. So I will do that to call them this afternoon. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. As always, Katie's back. Treadmill is tough on my knees. I agree. Not as bad as on hubby's elliptical. I never could do an elliptical, even back in the day when I was doing stuff like that. Katie says, I just go walking. You slam your feet on a treadmill. Although he swears it's easier on his knees, then complains about sore knees all the time. Elliptical is low impact. I was too uncoordinated to get the elliptical to work comfortably for me. Anyway, I did, PT for a couple years back before I got to the point that I couldn't breathe and walk anymore. So I kind of miss that. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up today. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising. Hopefully, one day soon, we'll all get together on the high seas. Have a great Wednesday, everybody. I'll see everybody back here on Friday if I don't see you tomorrow. Have a great day, y'all. See you next time.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.